I decided to make a talking video. I am just sitting downstairs in my family room at 6:50 in the morning. I've been getting up really early compared to when I used to, which on one hand I'm like, yay, I'm not sleeping till 2 p.m. But the reason I'm waking up is not just because my body's waking up and I feel so ridiculously well rested because I slept so well. It's the opposite because I've been waking up in such severe pain. And that's just so difficult that I don't even fight it anymore. Here I am again with my green tea, and I didn't even turn on Dr. Phil yet because I'm videotaping, but I have HGTV on muted until I finish. But basically, I have really good doctors now. We went through a whole period of trying to get those doctors, which was a long span of 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 5 years. Okay. So it was not always this way. But now I have really good doctors that understand chronic Lyme disease. They understand my problems. They don't think I'm crazy. They don't think I'm faking it. But I still have some uncertainty with doctors for sure, especially if someone suggests me seeing a new doctor. And that happened with one of my specialists that I'd been seeing before I'd been diagnosed with Lyme, and then crazy symptoms after I paralyzed. My brain function cognitively has not been good. So after I paralyzed, we'll say it in English correctly, my left foot, and things got really bad, and I finally got diagnosed with Lyme. We were on the whole Lyme path of, getting a doctor, getting a this, what do I do? Oh my gosh, we didn't realize that this was like, So that specialist got thrown on the back burner, and I didn't see her for, I don't even know how long, because this was going way back now. I'm 20 years old now. I saw her when I was probably like 14, maybe for like a year. I don't know, that's a random guess, but it was for a substantial amount of time, even if it was like 6 months, but I feel like it was longer. And then we stopped seeing her just because we were overwhelmed by doctors and appointments and tests and all that crazy Lyme stuff that came out of nowhere to us. Since then, we have been going back to her. Now this is many years later. I'm now 20 years old. But not anymore. We cut the ties with that specialist, which needed to be done, but she also had some very, very good qualities. She didn't bash chronic Lyme, because lots of doctors do that, and I want to hit my head against a brick wall when they do. And she wasn't. She was very compassionate, very nice, very understanding. But the problem is I'm very prone to cellulitis infections. Okay, cellulitis is not an infection. Cellulitis can happen from an infection. So just making that a little more understandable, hopefully. So I get cellulitis from infections. I don't even know, obviously, I don't know the definition of cellulitis. I know itis always means inflammation. Just the last itis, appendicitis, whatever. But 3 times we went to this specialist, 3 different times. We wanted to get a bacterial test for me to see if I had bacteria, because we thought I was getting a skin infection that leads to big problems. The first time is not documented at all because it was so ridiculously bad. It was in March of not this past year, not March 2017, March 2016. it was so bad in the hospital, like I couldn't move. I was screaming the whole time. There's no footage. But there's like a hospital series of me in December of 2016, right before, obviously December is right before the new year. Yeah, 2016. So there's a whole series of hospital footage from December, and there's hospital footage from April 2017, which is right after, literally like 2 days after I got my service dog, Sonoma. I ended up in the hospital with severe cellulitis again, and I ended up staying like a week every time. So this doctor was supposed to perform bacterial things when I felt symptoms coming. And since I've had cellulitis at the time 5 different times within a year, I was starting to get smarter, luckily, and was catching on to the early stage symptoms compared to when my skin was so bad that my skin was ripping off and bleeding and lesioning everywhere. We obviously try to catch it before it gets to that point, which is why the testing is so important. Now, this doctor, of course, I'm not going to say the doctor's name because I'm not putting it out there, said she was performing bacterial tests, and 3 times, she said it. Like, I don't understand. I will never understand this. And she didn't. She didn't tell us enough. We heard afterwards that she never ran these tests 3 different times. 3 different times ended up in the hospital because she didn't run the test. And I'm like, this is your job. This is your specialty. What are you doing? So after the first time when she didn't do it and she prescribed me something else, and she's like, no, this isn't a bacterial problem. No. I'll put you on whatever I was put on. I don't remember. I got way, way, way worse. I was acting autistic because it spread through my body and ended up really bad in the hospital, and that was the March 2016 one. And every time I've ended up in the hospital, it's been very bad. That's why I'm in the hospital. But March was the worst one because it went really long undiagnosed because she didn't run the bacterial test that would have shown bacteria, obviously, if there was any, which there was. And that time, I remember, I had staph and strep. Who knew you could have strep in your skin? Everyone thinks strep throat. I always thought that. Staph, I really don't know as much about. But it's not just strep throat. You can get strep in your skin. It's crazy. But after this doctor messed up so many times and I had such severe consequences due to her actions or lack of actions, it's still been an ongoing problem, and we saw a new specialist. What day is today? Thursday? On Tuesday. We were going through all my medical history. I've never seen her before, so that takes a long time. And she was shocked that this specialist didn't run bacterial tests. And I was like, yeah, I agree with you. So she's like, let's run the bacterial test because I was going through a flare. And I was like, Mom, I feel like this is coming. I get achiness that is not just normal Lyme achiness. It's different achiness that I can pinpoint now. I don't feel like this is right. I was this close to the hospital. They said I should go, but in the morning, because I got really bad at night, and they were like, they're not going to end up doing anything for you. No, people are going to be coming at night. So I didn't end up going to the hospital, but the new doctor that I saw, who I was hoping would shed light on this and help me from getting more infections that we don't know really how I get them, that turn into severe cellulitis. You can look up some pictures of Google cellulitis. Some are big deal, and some are like, holy cow. Mine are the holy cow ones. Graphic images. Do that at your own expense. Is that the way to say it? So I had high hopes for this new specialist, specializing in the same thing but just a different doctor. We thought she was like higher up than the other doctor, so she would have more ideas. She said she was running this bacterial test, and then we got a call yesterday, right when we got home from, I had a Lyme appointment, that she didn't run it and that she was wrong, and I'm back with cellulitis again from an infection that I don't know what it is because she didn't test for it. So I have a very low standard, I guess, for doctors right now. These are really the only two doctors that I'm having, this is weird on the camera, very hard time trusting, because they've made so many mistakes that have not just been simple mistakes. I know everyone makes mistakes and nobody's perfect, whether you're an MD or have no degree. People, which doesn't mean you're not smart. I know plenty of people that don't have a degree that are way smarter than people with an MD, so that just speaks volumes to me. We let go of the old specialist because I didn't trust her. How can you trust someone who's like messed up so many times and got your health in such a bad situation? And then the new specialist comes in, like, and I was uncertain. I wasn't feeling like, oh my gosh, this is the person, but I wasn't feeling, oh my gosh, this is not the person. I'm willing to give her a chance, and we are going back to her next week, which makes me a little nervous because I feel like I'm the kind of person who has to stand up for myself because of all that I've gone through and of all of the things that people said to me that are like crazy of, you're faking it, you're this, you're that, you're stressed, you're an annoying teenager, and I'm like, no, I'm not. So I'm probably gonna end up saying that, you know what, this is unacceptable. I don't yell, I don't cause like hissy fits, but it's unacceptable, and it's really not a good way to have a first impression of a doctor. I was rolled into her office in a wheelchair on Tuesday because I couldn't walk due to the skin problems. And it has been flaring for 5 weeks, so it's in the earlier stages of cellulitis because I'm not in the hospital. But the earlier stages are still very severe for me because of all the underlying conditions I have. So my hope for this doctor is very, very uncertain. It would be wonderful if she surprises me like the next time I see her in less than a week and things seem so much better. But I'm always going to remember, just like with the old specialist, how many times she messed up and how bad that affected me. That the first time I went to this doctor, she was saying, you need a bacterial test. And then when we were doing the tests and she ran tests on me, she didn't. Did she forget? Did she not send it to the lab? I don't know. But she didn't. So that's really hard to get past when it makes you so severe. I've lost so much trust in these specialists because I've been seeing them since I was 13 to try to figure out my issues, and we thought we were getting farther with getting better specialists and such. At least people that didn't bash Lyme. Hey, that's one step up. But now I feel like I'm in the same boat and I'm stuck because I'm really uncertain about this new specialist that I am seeing next week, so I'm sure there'll be an update about that. And I just already don't trust her because she messed up and made me more miserable physically than I should have been.